Hey guys, Derek Oswald here, My Style Mortgage. Thanks for applying with us. I wanted to go through a demo and show you what the loan application looks like. I'll go through and fill it out real quick just to show you how to get it done. Important to note that we want you to fill this out to the best of your ability. So put in as much information as you can. Try not to skip anything. The better the information that you put in, the quicker that we can complete the pre-qualification. So also, along with that, at the end, our system is going to generate a document need list that we're going to need to gather from you. So the better the information that you put in, the better that needs list is going to be. So things like income documentation or asset documentation, that type of thing. So make sure you fill this out to the best that you can for you and also your spouse or other co-borrower, whoever else would be going on the mortgage with you. So with that being said, let's jump right in. Once you get to the login page and you create your account, you may have to verify that jumping into your email and clicking on a link. Then that's going to bring you to this page here, which is the loan application. And so we'll just jump in and get going with it, and I'll roll through and kind of discuss things as we go through. So I'm just going to go through some of it's already filled out, but I'll put the type of property, whether I'm using this property as a primary residence, investment, or second home. Comfortable housing payment. This, I mean, you can throw in your max, let's say 3,000. Again, we can adjust this on the back end. So these types of questions aren't super important to get exact. If you are using a real estate agent, then you'd click yes and you'd fill in the information for a real estate agent. If not, no worries there. On here, I would put in probably the max that you think that you are going to be wanting to spend, and then the max amount of funds that you have available for a down payment. Not that you're going to use all that or that you want to use all that, but it is important for us to know the amount that you have available. Then in here you'd click the source, so you can put whether it's a gift, stocks, or equity. Whatever type of account that is, you can put in here. You can also add other sources. So if you were, say you had $45,000 from your checking and savings account, and then you were getting a gift from a family member for another $5,000, then you could add down payment source. You could put gift and then add in here $5,000. Okay. Save and continue. It's going to move us to the next stage over here. Give it a second. Okay, here, fill out your information. I'm just doing test. If you have a nickname, so if your name is Michael but you like to go by Mike, click that. Then it would allow you to put in Mike, right? So pretty self-explanatory. Contact info. So you're going to want to put in all your information, work phone. Who has a home phone nowadays? But if you do and you want to throw it in there, go ahead. And then where you currently live, throw that in. If your mailing address is different, then you're going to want to put that in separate as well. Own, rent, put in the monthly rent if you rent. If you live rent free, so if you are staying with family members or have been staying with family, saving up money for a down payment, you'd put your family's address in here and claim that you're living rent free if that's the case. Then the duration that you've been there. On the address history, we need a 2-year history. So if I was to put in here, I've only been there for a year, then it's going to ask what my previous address would be. So then I'd have to put in 3 test, and whatever that is. So I would put in the second address, put in the amount of time that I'd been there, whether I rent, so same thing. But if it's over 2 years, then you don't have to put in another address. Again, it's important though to put in accurate information. So if you've been there for a year and 9 months, then you're going to have to put in another address as well. Here's if you're a veteran or not. If you are, then it's going to require some other information about your military status. Citizenship or residency, marital status, then dependents. So if you have some dependents, say you got 3 kids, then it's going to want you to put in the ages. So you just separate it by a comma, like that. Pretty easy. So save and continue to go to the next page. All right, co-borrowers. So if you have a co-borrower, a spouse, a family member, roommate, somebody else that's going to be going on the loan with you, then you could uncheck that obviously. Then hit add co-borrower. It's going to have you put in their information as well. For this example, let's cancel that, and we're going to apply solely. Save and continue. All right, so then you would put in your income. So here, if you are, W-2 employee, that type of thing, you'd put the employment income. If you're receiving disability, Social Security, child support, alimony, those types of things, then that would be under other income. So here we'll select, let's go employed by a company. So let's just say test, position, whatever. I'm just gonna do test on a bunch of these just so you know. But you'd put in whatever your position is. Start date. Again, this is like the address history. If you've only been there, if you've been there less than 2 years, it's going to require you to put in another job, your previous job, so that we can get that 2-year history. So for this example, I'm going to put it back a few years. That way we don't have to worry about the second job, the history there. Work phone, just put in your work phone there. Office address. This one doesn't require you to put it in, but if you know it, again, the better the information you can put in, the quicker the app or the pre-qualification can be done. Time spent, as you hover over this shows you that it's just the total employment time in that line of work. So not on this particular job, but if you're a teacher, you've been at this job for 5 years, but you've been overall in that field for 20 years, then you'd put in there 20 years. All right, income information. So here we want to base, so if your salary, if you know what your salary is, throw that in. If you're $50,000 a year, you can toggle this to annual, and it's going to give us the breakdown for the monthly on our end. If you're hourly, switch it here to hourly. Say you're $25 an hour, and you're 40 hours a week, right? Then on the bonus and commission, overtime, and other income. So some people will put in things like auto, if you have a per diem or an auto allowance, those types of things. That's typically where we see people put those. So pretty straightforward there. Again, if it's not a full 2-year history, it's going to ask you for more information. If you are self-employed, then you'd want to enter in here self-employed, because again, the needs list at the end is going to be generated based off of the information that you put here. So let's just say self-employed, position owner, start date. Let's say it was January 1st, 2019. I'm just going to throw in ones here. Not going to do that. Office address, say 20 years. Ownership percent. So this is important because if it's less than 25%, then we don't have to collect business taxes or K1s for that. If you own more than 25%, then we're going to have to gather all the business taxes as well as your personal tax returns. So let's just throw in here, say it's, say you make $15,000 a month. Let's just throw in random numbers. And then, you want to fill out all the other information there. Going to go ahead and save that, and we'll jump to the next tab. Takes a second here. All right, so if we want to put in other income, we can. We've got our self-employment listed here. Let's say that we also receive Social Security. And let's say we receive $800 a month. You can describe what it is, if it's for one of your children or your income, whatever it is, you can put in there. Let's go ahead and save that. All right, that's all the income, let's say. So let's move on to assets. All right, so let's add some assets here. Let's say we've got checking account. Let's say that there's, $45,000 in there, since that's what we put for our down payment. Let's say it's, Wells Fargo, whoever it is. You don't have to put the account number in right now if you don't want to. We'll get bank statements from you and we can add that in. Let's say that we've received a gift from our family members, right? So there's that $5,000. This was from, let's say it was our parent, and it's not deposited yet. Let's say save there. That's all of our assets. But if we had stocks, or if we had retirement accounts or CDs or money market accounts, we can add all that information here if we need to. Typically, I recommend just putting in the accounts that have the down payment amount in there. So if you're putting $45,000 in there, we want to see the account where that is coming from. All right, real estate. So if you own any real estate, this is where you're going to list it. So I'm not going to do it just for sake of time, but you would go ahead and put in the address, what the property value is, your best guess on what the value is, property usage, depending on how you're using it, status, property type, monthly expenses, whatnot. Then you would save and continue. But we're going to just say that we don't have any real estate currently, just to make this a little quicker. All right, then they're going to go through the declaration questions. So, are you going to occupy this as your primary residence? Yes. Have you had any ownership in any other properties in the last 3 years? No. Do you have a family relationship or business affiliation with the sellers? No. Not borrowing any money for this transaction? No. I'm just going to go through these real quick. Not applying for other credit. There's no liens. I'm not a cosigner any other debt. No judgments. Not delinquent on federal debt. Just click that. Not party to a lawsuit. I haven't had any foreclosures or deed in lieu of foreclosures. All right, no bankruptcies, all that. Obviously, if you were to select that, then it's going to ask for more information. So if I select yes on bankruptcy, it's going to ask what chapter it was. If the foreclosure, sometimes on some of these it'll ask the dates, but it doesn't look like it is on those. So let's move on. All right, so this is all for government monitoring purposes. If you don't want to answer some of these questions, then you can just put do not wish to provide. But since I'm doing this for myself, I'll just go ahead and fill this out. Continue. Okay, date of birth. So I'd throw in, I know I'm kind of old, social. I'm just going to throw that in. Social. Let's see if it's going to let me go with just ones. Estimated credit score. You can obviously put whatever you think it's at. Save and continue. Quickly review all the details. So you're going to go through and make sure everything that you have in there is correct. If there's anything else that you think that we might want to know or might be important to know, then you're going to want to put some information in there. And then obviously if you can select, if you heard about us from a real estate agent or whoever that was, that's helpful as well. So then you proceed, let's just say advertisements, proceed to consent. Then I agree to credit and I agree to receiving electronic disclosures. So on the credit, typically on the initial pre-qualification, we're going to do a soft credit check, which means it's not going to show up on your credit report as an inquiry. It's not going to ding your score or anything. We pull from one credit bureau when we do the soft pull. And then down the road, once you get more serious and you find a property and everything, then we can do the full credit check at that point. So let's go ahead and just submit application to see what it does. All right, well done. So now it's saying it's going to create our needs list. So we'll let that populate here, and then I'll show you what it looks like on that needs list as well. So it takes just a second, and then it's going to populate it. So here you go. So now it's going to show what documents are needed based off of the information that you put in the application. So it's going to need my tax returns because I'm self-employed. So I can upload them right from here. I can click right here, pull them up from my computer, throw them in. Same thing, it's going to ask for 2 months bank statements, business federal tax returns because I showed that I owned greater than 25% of the business, my driver's license, purchase agreement. Obviously, right now I'm not, at this stage, probably not under contract. Some people are at this point, but typically not. So you wouldn't have to worry about that right now. If I was to have put in that I am a W-2 employee versus self-employed, it would not ask for my tax returns. It would ask for my last 2 years W-2s and then my last 30 days pay stubs. So again, depending on how you fill it out, this needs list is going to be built based off of the answers that you put in there. Once this is all complete and done, I'm going to get notification, or my team members will get notification. We're going to go in there. We're going to, make sure everything was filled out, and then we will contact you with questions that we have. And then if the documents that you uploaded didn't work, we're going to ask for some updated documentation. Typically, once we have all this information in, we can get the pre-qualification done pretty quick, and then we can reach out, go over the different options that you have, and answer any questions that you have, and help you get pre-qualified. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can email, text, call me, whatever works best for you. We're happy to answer any questions and make this process as easy as possible. Thanks. Talk to you soon.